Get started. Make this coffee. I have this bag of coffee from Pavement Coffee Roasters in Boston. It is a single origin coffee bean from Antigua, Guatemala. The farm is called Finca Carmona. Producer is Maria Zelaya Aguirre. You can kind of see some of this information right here. And what we're going to do here is we are going to start to make this pour over. What we do is we measure out the beans for weight. What we do is we do a ratio of 30 grams to 480 grams of water to do this, and we do it in the Chemex. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what we did was we ground the beans. I have a Cuisinart bird grinder. It's very important to have a bird grinder. This is a good middle of the road grinder. It's not a high-end one, but it does give decent results. A lot of people do like the Baratza brand for the consistency. As you can see, here's the grind. You do have a couple pieces of grounds that are a little more fine than the others, and that's what you're gonna get. Alright, so what we can do is grab our Chemex, tear that. I have the filter. Just kind of slide the filter in there. And then what you're gonna want to do is rinse the filter with hot water. We have our water at 205 degrees Fahrenheit. So you rinse it to kind of rinse out the paper taste of the filter, as well as to bring the cone of the Chemex up to temp or close to it, so you don't have a lot of change of temperature when you're brewing. And I'll just discard this water into the bowl. And then we're ready to go. So tear that again. We'll get rid of this. We start our timer. So the first pour you want to do is roughly double the weight of the beans that you are working with, and you let that bloom. You kind of see the bubbles come up through the grounds. You let that bloom for a couple seconds, usually around 30 seconds or so. So what I'll do is, right at the 40-second mark, I'm going to start my pour. And we're going to pour until we get 280 grams of water total. That's including the bloom. So concentric circles. Outside, back to the inside, and then we do a center pour for the rest. Until we reach 280. Kind of keep an eye on it, so then once it gets about an inch, the water line, an inch below the ground line, what you'll do is you'll start again. And I like to go concentric circles just for like 1 or 2 times, and then center pour slowly. About the same, I try to get about the same speed as which that it's dripping through the filter. Maybe slightly faster with the pour. And we're going to pour all the way to 480 grams. Right about there. And then you wait for this to go through. Generally should be right around the 4 to 4.5 minute total extraction time That should be about right. And what you want to see is the water level just as it reaches the top of the grounds and starts to kind of filter through. You pull the filter so that you don't get the remaining water coming through and over extracting the beans. This seems to be a little fast. So this could be a little more fine. So like I said, you like to see right around 4 minutes, and it looks like it's gonna finish right around 340 or so. This is kind of finishing up here. No, it's going not quite to the top yet. Right about now, actually. It's about now, that's good. So there's still a little bit of water left in there, but that's okay. So take that and set that aside. Oops, and we'll hit the lap to stop the timer. And so as you can see, it's about 4 minutes. Let's hit the lap, not the actual stop button. So it's about 4 minutes, 9 seconds for this extraction. This was a lighter roast, as you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see through the camera, but it's definitely a lighter roast here. You can see the color. It's a nice color. Let's see what our yield is. So we're shooting for over 400 grams here of liquid. So we poured 480 grams of water, and we're gonna wind up with, let's find out. So we wound up with about 412 grams of water. And one other thing I like to do is I like to check the temperature of the coffee. So 147 or so. One thing to note is after you pour, and especially if you're pouring into a cold glass, which is what I did here, is you're gonna lose around 10 to 20 degrees. So this generally should come out after you're done brewing from the tip of the filters, usually around 180 degrees, down from the pour temperature of 205. And then the bell is what I call the bottom of the Chemex here. When you finish brewing and you're still in the nice hot Chemex, it's usually around 160 degrees. And so you can see we lost about 13 degrees coming out of the Chemex into the cold cup. And I do that mostly so I can drink the coffee sooner, because it cools it off a little bit more quickly. I don't have to wait because I like to drink my coffee. Alright, so that is a pour over. Again, we used beans from Pavement Coffee Roasters in Boston, single origin from Guatemala. This is the second day in a row that we are drinking a Guatemalan coffee. Perhaps we will venture into Africa tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.